Ellis and my involvement. Ellis, Lucifer Star, me, Brian. My involvement was basically the way I did things. Pretty much was, of course, with everyone knowing everything about it, and if anyone got sick or anyone died, is immediately told to the larger group. I would never allow for a tent city of dead and dying people to exist on one of my sites. Like I said, most of my sites are a lot older than most other people's and a lot more open. Like I said, it was mostly Nixon and basically 1950 and JFK and big government and pretty much Himmler and Hitler hit her basically, and pretty much the blacks that did most things. When I did things with 60-year-olds or 70-year-olds or people that were actually still usable but old, and they were told everything about what they were doing. And what they were doing really was low yield work. Um, what Nixon and Hitler, Adolf Hitler, which was this black guy, or Jim Samuel, which was a black guy as well, or something like that. Basically, they eventually did. Anyway, I owned the LS shipyard and LC shipyard, and then the black people started doing this takeover thing, and basically employing or lying and basically getting white people to go and work at these radioactive sites and basically kill themselves doing this thing. Well, we did get a lot of usable research out of it. Other people, like I said, investigations into Windscale, investigations would eventually um, uh, yield some good information about radiation and everything else. We did find out things. And when the true Windscale happened between 1500 and 1920 or so, where basically thousands of white people died. Although, in the larger scheme of things, it's like, well, it wasn't. Most people would say, well, it wasn't all that bad. Although, in the meantime, black people were basically raping women and pretty much trying to get a majority population so they could kill everyone else. Like all the food was going to black people, all the resources, all the money was going to black people, and pretty much white people were pretty much a slave society. Only they didn't know it. Basically, um, John McCain, Richard Nixon, basically uh, what's called Wolf, the uh, H whatever and Wolf or whatever. I forget their name. Anyway, they were the the black people were doing this whole like they are gods and on top, and basically they would send white people to work in Windscale or one of these nuclear reactor sites, basically where they would die within a couple of years, and like they knew what was going on, and they didn't. Of course, a black man isn't going to care about a white person. Why would they? Apparently, black people have no regard for white people. In fact, they say kill more. Apparently. Anyway, though, like I say, the British and the English and a bunch of other white people found out about this and found out about how black people feel. And basically, eventually, pretty much we would be in a 90% black person population with only about 10% remaining of white people or Caucasians. We are a dead and dying race, most people would say. Um, Pretending to have a German accent or whatever. Like I say, though, anyway, um, but I am not going to die. I did not die. Anyway, a lot of things were found out about Windscale. Like I said, I had a lot of people from Belfast and a lot of other people which were on my side. Anyway, and some big battleships and a lot of aircraft. The truth would be known about the 2 billion people that died at Windscale, even if I had to tell them myself. Um, Anyway, it had been my site, and I put in quite a bit of money into my site, into that site, mostly in terms of cleanup. I wanted it cleaned up because it was just basically an open pile that was basically just flaming. I think they said it was flaming. It was just burning out there or something like that. I don't really know the exact details of it. and pretty much some serious power or some serious things, it was going to be a problem for the rest of the world eventually. It's one of those everyone problems that would eventually even possibly kill off quite a few black people. Anyway, the radiation damage was total and extemic. I mean, people with small arms, people, it was pretty severe, bordering on basically all life on Earth basically not existing anymore. They didn't care. They were like, more radiation, more. Anyway, basically it's where pretty much the British Council, which had been good and honest and truthful, basically went bye-bye. They don't really care. They're laughing about it. And pretty much you know, those people in power were pretty much like, whatever, who cares? And basically just left the workers and me and basically everyone else going, huh? What? Like I said, one of my camera planes came over and saw. Nobody at the site could actually see the tent city. They weren't allowed to go there. They're like, you can't go here, blah blah. National security research. And there's just people dying in tents. And it wasn't until and they wouldn't allow planes to get near it. They'd go and shoot you down if you got near it. So you couldn't even photograph the tent city really. It wasn't until a storm came along, blew the tents off the tents, that a long-range telephoto lens from over a couple thousand feet away went. What's that? Why are there 5,000 or 50,000 people all laying in the dirt over there going? What's going on over there? Which is basically how we found out about wind scale. Pretty much. The telephoto lens went, and basically, we were able to go from space. And a bunch of Nixon and a bunch of other people, and even the people on the Germany's council were like, you can't do that. Bad to national security. Stop it. Anyway, but it's like I had Cosmos. I owned Cosmos, and I owned some really good telephoto lens. And it's where John McCain and Richard Nixon was like, we found it out. Like, you caused it. It's where Congress, it's where you go and hang Congress. So basically, they didn't give a fuck. They're covering it up. Everyone was getting irradiated. People were going to work there at the city, and basically, like I say, you'd be promoted from the docks to the storehouse to the what's called moving up in the world. I see, like within months of getting there, and basically your work time on the island would be about, and it was actually I believe on another island, not even on the UK island. Anyway, your total work time at Windscale would be basically a matter of 6 months, and then you would be taken to the other site. And basically, we'd lie there. They have camera film of the people that we found at Windscale. Throwing up. You'll get over it. Go back to work, they said. It's where the British Council was behind them too. Yes, you should go back to work. People were being kept from the island. You can't go here. Oh, blah, blah, blah. National security. Top secret. Research. It's going to save lives one day. They were just trying to make bombs. They wanted the fast way to make bombs. And they didn't care. There's an ad you can look in Germany. Work at Windscale. They tried to remove and burn all the newspapers, of course. Asking for workers. If you're a union man, you work at Windscale. If you're a working man, if you're a friend of labor, you'll work at Windscale. They hit it hard. They wanted everybody, and I think it was only white people that were actually working at Windscale, not black people, because they're not a stupid bitch. Anyway, the German council, everybody was behind Windscale. Windscale is the future. Truth was, it was just a plutonium pile, a uranium pile, or uranium ore pile that they were just mixing around with rakes. Literally, they were just taking rakes and going, back and forth to plutonium.